I can always go back to my hat later. But now I just want to go on the main topics, the purpose on behind the fourth final day before all of this is gone. Because Bella's episode is not just a reflection of what type of character I have in Paradigm Reflections. It was also uh, a symbolism that each each villager in each arc represents a theme. And since Bella's theme was chaos, it also shows that how dangerous the situation actually is. Because when you think of chaos, you should think of disasters like world enders. And surprisingly, Bella's the perfect candidate to be involved in a situation like this. So yeah, that's pretty much the basics of the episode 196. If you want, I can share more insight of the previous villagers related to my story before Bella joined the cast, because I do remember a lot of the past villagers that is related to the past. The only memory that is kind of staticky for me is my memories of my time before the second Burbank was created. The villager I remembered was Sally. She was extremely similar to Sky, but compared to how Sky's status is in Burbank, Sally was actually the person that actually remembers me from what I originally was before I completely lost the original Burbank. Then then around the first year, Mo actually became the first person that identified what the first era of Justin's life was. It represents just simple innocence, and compared to and the the dynamic between what the two villagers were was young man, wise old lady, which was Greta, which I will tackle in the next episode. So I will be explaining more of what Greta's role was before she eventually moved out. And based on what I remembered Mo on Animal Crossing, he was just your generic lazy villager, the one who always pretty straightforward, simple guy. Just basic minimum straightforward guy. Then after that, Kurt and Lily joined in. After that, Kurt and Lily joined in the cast as the other two, and eventually they became the standardized two symbolism that there's a sudden change. The dynamic between the two was Lily was your typical normal villager, so it also reveals that Sky's role was more than what it seems, and I'll explain more about what Kurt's role was in the next episode. But based on what I remember from Lily, frog villager, your typical normal frog villager. And don't worry about that. It's just an AI viewer. It's not that important. I know it's not a real viewer. Anyways, then next up is actually a next badge, which actually defines what my role is in Justin's life. As I did start off as a kid who doesn't exactly know how to run a community. Flo and Zell represented on what a proper business should be. Flo was like the pops was a rock star sensation, and she did actually play the guitar, while Zell actually represents the businessman who actually owns a lot of buildings. I still keep in touch with Zell, and he sometimes like visits Burbank, despite him not remembering me as much. So they both play a legendary role in Into My Realm, and from there the cast, and that was like the last batch of the most important villagers that moved into my town. Some The other two were just nooks and crannies of like the tiny details on what I'm feeling at the moment. In fact, in fact, the actual change was actually when Willow and Robin moved in, and this is around the time where Justin met Echo. Willow was actually the supposed original took Bella's place. As the best way I can describe Willow's symbolism was, if Justin was in Echo's perspective, that's basically what her characteristic was. Willow as a person, she was your typical snooty diva. She always prefers fashion. Unintentionally fell in love with soccer, surprisingly, after having the don't judge a book by its cover relationship. And she always has been rivals with Nibbles throughout the years, with Robin, and the relationship dynamic between Robin and Willow is just like always they always like have their backs. I will explain Robin's role like in the far future, because I did found something out about how Robin was treating Burbank over time as I was reflecting everything. Originally, I was thinking about adding Shino and Raymond into the cast, but I didn't realize they were also involved with the sabotage as well. And honestly, I am still speechless on like how big of a deal it was. I guess I can start by explaining what Raymond's role was. Raymond supposed to represent a victim's mindset. Ever since I found out about the villager trading post in Nokazan, I was truly disgusted like how people treat villagers, and so Raymond, I was lucky enough to have Raymond in my campsite and kept him in my town ever since. But he still had that victim mindset entirely. Raymond didn't exactly connect with anyone, because since he is considered as an outcast, he was actually someone that actually grew attached to me, which was similar to how Ken is actually growing attached. I don't know. Maybe it was thanks to Raymond's being attached to someone that made me concerned about Ken in the first place, because the first thing I noticed from Ken is like he's trying to like his hardest to be friends with me, and I just didn't want him to overexhaust himself, because it kind of like reminds me like how Raymond was to me. Stitches was also involved in Burbank too, but I can admit I didn't think much about what Stitch's role was. All I remember was he was mainly involved with the evolution of the vanilla story of Burbank, and eventually think I had him move out. So yeah, I didn't exactly think much about Stitches aside from he was related to Sasha in some way. Then and then it was Hug. Sadly, he wasn't exactly an important figure, as I didn't think he would actually take Robin's place before Fauna. Then and then all of a sudden Bella moved in after the events of New Leaf, and surprisingly, what I found out about Bella is she has been involved into the situation I'm in, including the 524 lore. I don't know if it's just me or is if my connection is like kind of like staticky a bit, but I'm halfway done with the story, halfway done with like explaining what I remembered based on what I remembered on my villagers. Anyways, yeah, yeah, Hook was just a chill guy. He didn't exactly do much. Then when Bella moves in, I ended up realizing that she is an extremely important figure because not only she showed up in Toluca, which was my Wild World save file, which is another town that actually exists. Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you. I was slightly concerned about my connection. Anyways, Bella showed up in my Wild World, and all of a sudden she implanted Bill's memories of how what Burbank was, revealing that Burbank is a town far more powerful than I ever realized. Because I did attempt to actually raise another town, but I know I can't exactly abandon Burbank just that simple. And the main reason why I can't exactly abandon Burbank, because I know deep down this was Justin's entire life's investment. So, and sadly, yes, it is considered a traumatic reminder, which is that's something Justin can't escape from at all. So technically, he's not supposed to be playing this game anymore, but he comes back to it because of me. So I'm doing my best to just show Justin that you did not actively play this. Animal Crossing was not Echo Nightwing's recommendation. It's you rec Justin introduced Echo to Animal Crossing. It's the other way around. One thing's for sure, sometimes Justin's memory is like all jumbled up, having certain things that doesn't correlate well. I know one of them is Justin is a huge Animal Crossing fan. It's pretty straightforward, and I'm pretty sure I don't need any evidence to prove that I am in fact an Animal Crossing fan. And then Bella's actual introduction to Burbank was a sudden plot twist. When I saw Bella in the campsite, the first thing I think about is just having her move in. I wanted Huck to move out badly because I know he didn't mind. He got dragged into a situation that is extremely situational. And when I heard that Raymond wanted to move out, I was actually speechless for once. And at the time, I didn't think I was really concerned on how Raymond feels. But when I think about how Bella wanted to move in, I decided to check in on Raymond one last time, and I'm honestly concerned that Raymond might get involved into like a situation that he might not like, since Raymond is considered one of the most popular villagers amongst the Animal Crossing community, and I have seen on what they did to him. So I was skeptical on that, I let, but I approved the message. I gave the A-OK to have Bella moved in, taking Raymond's place, and that's when the whole couple of months started. And I'll admit, Bella actually has been better than Raymond. It's heartbreaking because Raymond was a huge Echo Nightwing symbolism, but it's honestly better that he made Burbank more lively than it originally was. And it's been like that ever since. So yeah, that's basically it for all the villagers I remembered. to the point where I don't have the exact photos of it. The only evidence I have based on my Animal Crossing past is just my abandoned Instagram account. Justin originally supposed to have the his Animal Crossing files, but it got deleted. Like it was like a full-on board wipe, like system reset. So he truly don't doesn't have access to what burping was, what the first 3 years of burping was originally. Yeah, it's definitely a tragic one, but I'm certain that Justin will remake it. That's like the benefits of being in the present. You can always like remake what you remembered. He has like a photographic memory on how it goes. But it's not exactly the original, but it's at least good enough. And one example being this room I'm in. Justin shockingly didn't have that much photos with Echo in Animal Crossing, which that itself is pretty sad. The origin story behind this particular fish tank is one of the key factors of what Justin remembers Echoes as. If you see in one of the spots, one of the circles has been shined. Justin always stands in that spot, and a lot of the times Echoes just stands right next to him, and alongside with people that are related to Echo. It was definitely the most wholesome interactions Justin had entered in, but it's definitely the uh, least memorable memory Justin has. Because one, I was honestly sick and tired of him taking the spotlight, and I wanted Echo to be in that spot instead of him. And yes, I get it. Each Animal Crossing villager has one screen, but you sometimes gotta forget that everyone's screen is completely different. So why give everyone else a chance to shine? But it opens But that itself opens a question that even Echo like admits. Why exactly is Justin standing like in the circle all the time? Well, my answer to that is, what do you do when you're trying to create as much memories as possible? You result into some memorable moments. And Justin's time in the fish exhibit is only through this area. The rest of the fish area is fine by him. So this area it marks a special spot to Justin because this was like a historical relic to like what it was like to be with Echo at the time. So him playing New Horizons did make a huge impact in his life. And I know what some of you guys are thinking. Why exactly playing New Horizon is a huge impact or like a huge deal in Animal Crossing? Well, just keep this in mind. Justin didn't exactly plan out on what his Avengers and New Horizons would be. He already knows. He already. Yeah, it definitely did. It definitely made a huge impact on the evolution of Justin's life, including the vanilla story of New Horizons. I will admit, Echo in the picture was definitely out of script. This was not planned in Justin's adventures at all. So technically, I was actually a key witness to see an actual character evolution to Justin as a person in general. And I'm not, in the longest time, I'm not even sure if Echo realizes that. Unfortunately, there is a name to this type of era, and it's called the Great Silence, where Justin's not as active at Animal Crossing as he used to for an unknown reason. I remembered Echo being online in Animal Crossing on a daily basis. And for the longest time, I can just tell Justin wanted to just jump in, visit her town, and try to take as many pictures as possible. But Justin has a lot of responsibilities to do, and of course, Justin has a life outside of Animal Crossing, so I wasn't exactly mad at him for that. However, what I didn't know is she has always been active in Animal Crossing in a daily basis, and is actually 2 times better than me, which I'm not even upset about it. That made me happy because I taught Echo the basics of what Animal Crossing is. I and she actually researched the game on her own and actually built multiple islands under her own name. So that made me happy, and including the people that I also helped out as well. That also made me happy too. And no, if she thinks I'm mad at her for that, I wasn't actually mad about that at all. I was honored that she actually built a legacy outside of what I actually was. Though I am kind of mad at what she did, like behind the scenes of the whole leaving Justin for her best friend kind of situation. That I'm kind of mad at. That I'm actually mad about. But the rest, no, she. But the rest, she's fine. It's just that. Though I will admit, since the 3.0 update has arrived, the longest time I've been curious about one thing that is related to the hotel, to her version of the hotel. Is she gonna have it exactly like her appearance, or is she gonna put a new twist into it? And if so, are is there like any themes she have built in her hotels compared to how I built my themes? That part I actually have zero clue if she has any plans for that. And I did try to visit the hotel like in the dream one time, but I found out the hard way that it was restricted, which which is fair honestly, because like you have to be like active like on their islands who in order to see the see the hotel rooms that itself. So that part I don't exactly have access to. Am I planning to like visit her dream again? Honestly, after the Animal Crossing Avatar incident, I'm honestly not gonna visit her island through the dream state. Where I'm already in the final countdown, and Justin is honestly like gonna forget about her, and he's probably gonna like forget like why exactly he kept her island dream in the first place. So it's kind of like a sad situation. guess the only thing I'm really curious about is, since I know that all of this is gonna be over soon, what will Justin's life will be when he stops, when he finally stops thinking about her and just go back to what he used to do for a living. It's an actual interesting question when you're writing a story that you're actually involved in. When you're in the moment, when you're writing the book and concluding it, it's stuff like this that makes everyone else get curious about. Because I've always known there's going to be people that always get curious about the process. That is true. Only time will tell. And in Justin's situation, all he convinced me to let memory core echo die. It is definitely the most painful way to show a sign that echo fumble, but it's necessary for Justin to move on with his life. And I'm admit, I hate telling the truth towards Echo because she could have fixed this months ago. But I could tell she was not willing to listen for once. And after what I witnessed, what I saw Justin go through, and how her life evolved, I think it's best if I just let it go. Because I never realized that she never even like noticed it in the first place. Even when I'm pretty straightforward with it. It sucks because a lot of people don't actually notice it. Which is honestly a con for people that doesn't exactly see a certain perspective on a certain lifestyle. Or like perspective in a certain situation they got themselves in. I can definitely tell Echo has zero clue on what exactly Justin is suffering through. And this is something completely new that is 100% undiscovered. It's definitely some sort of like identity crisis of some kind, but it has to do with trying to remember the past and stuff. Just I know Jesse can function just fine. I know he is responsible doing his own thing. I already know he can pull his own weight, especially when things are dire. It's just for some reason he is struggling, just trying to remember the original purpose of it and can't remember the present. He can only remember tiny details from the past. And that is something that is uncertain at some point. The closest thing I have of what Justin's condition is he definitely has short-term memory loss. He definitely shuts down whenever he sees that he fails something in his life, especially when it's something personal. He is definitely not the time to communicate with people, and you have seen it. He has a lot of trust issues. It's definitely like a trust thing, and I can straight up confirm he's not great when it comes with keeping connections around. Even though I sometimes question some Justin's logic when he literally made connections with his Animal Crossing villagers, including the people around him too. So that in part, I'm just trying to figure out who implemented that into his head. My first assumption was his family, but no, it's not his entire family. I can correlate it to one I can correlate to one person entirely. And I know it's definitely not Echo, because I remember she was extremely supportive with him. I don't know how Justin got the idea of her being involved in a sabotage in some way, which also makes us a bit suspicious on why exactly the only person Justin remembers to be the only person that supports him really is the person also, like, all of a sudden became a bad memory. So there is some self-sabotage going on. And it's been like this for years until I reached a conclusion. Someone has taught him to shut himself down entirely. I mean, he has been. It's like a common occurrence for, like, when you're becoming a teenager and you're putting like a lot of weight into responsibilities. So this is definitely. So one thing is for certain: the self-hatred was definitely caused by someone. We just don't know what the answer is. We already cut down on who isn't the candidates. One thing I can confirm: it's not Echo. She unintentionally fueled up the self-hatred just by leaving him, doing the exact thing he feared like years ago. It's definitely not his father, because I know he was supportive with him throughout the years, and he was like extremely emotional. The only thing negative he'd done to him was just being real with him. And I know it's not his mom either, and because I know she is extremely supportive on his decisions and what he wants to do with his life, so that cuts out. The only potential candidate to make him feel like he's stuck is someone that actively cares about him the most, which correlates to his grandmother or me. Yes, I am the primary suspect on why Justin keep having him shutting himself down. So if you're confused on why I say it's me, mainly because I can just straight up admit I am a monster without even trying. I have done things. Yes, hang on. There we go. Anyways, well, yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah, the main reason why I said I'm the main candidate of why Justin keeps shutting himself down is really because there's like a lot of things I said to him that doesn't correlate to what everyone else is saying too. So that is why I keep saying Kaizo. So that's why I keep saying that Kaizo could be the potential one, because it does count as because Kaizo counts as an identity Justin doesn't even know about himself, and it's the only identity Justin doesn't realize. So there's only two candidates that actually implemented his mindset. That is the only two people that could actually infiltrate his mindset is his grandmother or me. That is the only candidates that actually has this particular mindset. I know I have evidence that I have been supporting Justin throughout the years, and I know I have no intention on guiding Justin into the wrong path. I wouldn't be surprised if EchoSec speculates that I'm Kaizo, because, like, let's be honest. Because let's be honest. If you were in Echo's perspective, would you believe a guy who plays Animal Crossing on a daily basis and all of a sudden he just like says that he's like playing Animal Crossing and just tell him that I'm Justin this and then I'm Justin that? Of course her first speculation is she's trying I'm trying to like she's I'm Justin's trying to win her over, which is far from reality because Justin has actually displayed his past avatar variants before, so it doesn't correlate. But to her, it's just using it as excuses. Plus, there's not enough evidence to claim that it's all just a temptation it's just an actual thing. If you think it's another attempt to make him believe that Justin's trying to win her back, which is far from reality because there is actual proof that Justin's already sick of the mindset of him thinking about her all the time. And then she also witnessed how his family treated him too, so her seeing him suddenly act out as Absorbarians make her question a lot. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. That's the same thing I was thinking about too, so the only way I can try to convince her this is legit is to just literally pressure Justin into actually asking himself on what he actually needs to do, which is letting Echo go. Which actually brings in an interesting perspective of what actually happens if Justin actually talks to himself. Which is kind of why you see, like, in a bunch of videos, Justin doesn't think highly of himself, and you literally see the most uncomfortable conversations that Justin has to tell himself based on how many people tell him on what's necessary. There's even times where I'm actually upset at Justin for saying certain things that he knows he's not. So there's that too. And despite everything, it is still like a whole bunch of excuses according to her. Can't hold it back anymore. That was actually a good one. Oh man. It's all right too. It's all right too. I'm one of the few people that is okay with when it comes to like trauma, like joking about like trauma dumps. But no, yeah, but overall, this is something that Justin should have still needed to do because there was actual evidence that Echo wasn't the best partner for him. That's why I'm not too upset about the breakup because one, I honestly knew Echo wouldn't find out about who Justin truly was behind all the originality he tried to convince her, all the ideas he had with her, and there was obviously something going on behind the scene that she wasn't aware of. Turns out it was Kaiso that was happening, and then there was this whole mess of trying to clean out everything that is related to her. We done a great job like cleaning the basics ones. That is what Justin remembers Echo for. That's been like, and we're still trying to clean up the mess that Justin left behind. So if you really like think about this in the whole grand scheme, like overall, if you got the chance to like watch the entire video, the overall conclusion is just it was pretty obvious Justin was venting out his actual backlash emotions of how much negativity he bottled up related to her. And I can admit it was definitely the most uncomfortable thing anyone can encounter because even I, even Echo didn't realize how much Justin had kept and a lot of the backlash he had for her, even the ideas that was related to her, is out of nowhere too. And what's worse, it's been like this for years too. So it's definitely things that is quite interesting if you really think about it. And if I remember correctly, I do remember seeing Bella and Parita has been trying to prime me, all try to share information on what I've been planning for like the past couple of months too. So that's kind of like why Bella and Parita are like considered dangerous villagers. to be in, because like they will pry anything personal with you. So these guys are definitely not the villagers to mess with. And I know this stressed it Sky a lot because I remember Sky being loyal to Echo all the way ever since she met her. And when I found out that when Echo liked Sky as well, it brings in like a he new situation where Sky is also under the pressure too. So there was also which also like reveals there's something concerning about Sky going on. I eventually found out what they're doing, and I had to I had to like observe the situation of what's going on. And apparently, what I didn't know is that Sky was hiding Memory Core Echo from me this entire time because she was like afraid that Echo would hate the idea concept of Memory Core Echo, and it's been on the hiding like ever since like all the video comes out while I was distracted trying to help Justin vent out his emotions. So yeah, and we reached the conclusion that we couldn't do anything about Memory Core Echo. We we all made an agreement that Echo won't listen to Justin at all. She won't listen to my plea. She won't listen to anything I say because they will be labeled as an excuse, and she won't understand the symbolisms she that Justin Natch been writing for years, and it's like the final end, and it's like the end of what what he remembers her for. So, yeah, I don't even know how Echo feels herself time to time. So it's just a speculation of what Justin views Echo a lot based on how she shows herself in public. I know the future will be better. I just know it. Based on the situation at hand, I am confident that the decision Justin will make after this one will be better. And based on how the world views Justin, I can already tell it hurt him, it hurt his grief, and eventually Echo will see the truth at some point. Because there is something I know about Echo that I already know that. Okay, there's one here something that I already knew from the start before the countdown. What makes me extremely dangerous to the public eye is I already know what your decision is going to be. Like, for example, I already know the moment you start watching the streams, you've been very eager to learn about Justin's personal worlds. I don't have control of your decisions, but I am allowed to guide you on where to find it. And based on how Echo's decision is, the moment the breakup starts, I already know she's not gonna take this seriously. And probably years later, when she's in a similar situation where Justin's in, she's gonna look back into her ex, and the first thing she sees is these collections of videos that was created for her this entire time. And all of this was just was prepared for a future message for her in the future. So the Echo I'm talking to, it's not the current Echo. I don't want to even see the current Echo anymore. She's already dead to me. This is for the future Echo Nightwing. So I already know what people think before they even realize it themselves. If you're smart enough, you already know what my patterns are, which a few people know, actually. In fact, I think two people already know my patterns, but one still has to, like, improve his thinking process, thinking, like, how I actually do things, and all the tiny details of it. But anyone can actually figure all of this out in a jiffy. And if you manage to prove me wrong, then you already got me impressed. That is the only exception I have when it comes with ego. If you can already prove enough to prove me wrong, then I am obliged to accept it. Unfortunately, Echo didn't exactly impress me, because based on how her actions was to Justin's life, she already proved to everyone else around him that she wasn't exactly responsible. For the longest time, Justin wanted to prove them wrong and has been telling Echo to try to prove them wrong, try to prove them wrong for like the longest time. But unfortunately, Echo wasn't smart enough to realize that. And she would have known that Justin has been her biggest supporter before they've broken up. And unfortunately, we don't have much time, so stay tuned for Purita's arc, because the next episode can be an interesting one.